Welcome, wanderers. Not all who slumber rest easy, and tonight some will rise. On this episode, we'll be entering a few rounds of combat, but this won't be a simple fight. There's a twist to these restless dead, and not every enemy holds a weapon. If you're joining us for the first time, I recommend starting with episode 1 of The Lanterns of Thirn Hollow. That's where our adventurers first arrived and the story began, where they followed whispered dreams, uncovered a mystery in the chapel, and watched the lanterns light the sky. Now, in episode 2, the mystery deepens. A name is uncovered. A figure lurks in the shadows, and our heroes must find their way out of a harrowing confrontation. So breathe, let the weight of the day fall from your shoulders. Let your world soften and slip into the stillness of Thirn Hollow. The windows are fogged, the candles are lit. Outside, the trees lean in close to listen. And above the graves, the lanterns begin to move. If you're enjoying this tale, I'd be honored if you'd like, subscribe, and leave a comment. It helps this new channel grow, one story at a time. Now then, grab your D20 and let's see if you can solve the mystery of Thirn Hollow. The hour before dawn holds a silence unlike any other. The mist, low and curling, winds between the roots of ancient trees. The moon hangs pale above the forest's edge, waning now, its light like breath on old glass. And through that hush comes the sound of quiet steps. Corin Blackreed moves through the dark with no memory of beginning the walk. His boots leave no print in the soft earth. His cloak hangs heavy from dew, and his breath shallow. He blinks against the dim shapes in the mist, not lost, not quite awake, but called. He doesn't remember rising, doesn't remember passing through the gates or into the clearing between the chapel grounds and the forest, but he's here, beneath the trees, drawn deeper by something he doesn't understand. The forest has gone still. Even the wind holds its breath. No wing rustles in the canopy, no chirp or cry, just the slow, deliberate sound of Corin's breath and the faint pull of something unseen. He stops at a tree unlike the others. The trunk is split, not from age, but something older. Its roots tangle down into a clutch of moss-covered stones, each stone etched faintly with symbols half swallowed by time. Symbols not written in ink or chisel, but memory. He leans in. The marks hum in the corners of his mind, a low, wordless note, not a message, a remembering. And somewhere in his chest, that echo answers. But the resonance twists as it deepens, familiar yet wrong, like hearing your own name spoken in a voice not meant to know it. The pressure in the air shifts. The mist tightens around his shoulders. He can feel it now. Not just a presence, but a tension. Cold, patient, not beckoning, but watching. Something waits, just out of sight, wearing the memory of the forest like a mask. He blinks, and the shape of the trees shift. Something waits, lurking behind the mist, between the roots, just at the edge of knowing. Adair. She steps from the dark as if she had always been there, cloaked in stillness, bow strung at her back, her eyes already on him. She does not speak. She only nods, a quiet gesture, a shared understanding. He follows her back through the trees, back toward the chapel light just beginning to flicker to life in the gloom behind. Beric stands near the chapel doors, the first signs of dawn glinting faintly off his armor as he scans the graveyard's edge. Beside him, Thalin murmurs the final lines of a prayer, her eyes fixed on the tree line, her grip firm around a holy relic. When Corin and Adair emerge from the gloom, silent but intact, a quiet breath escapes them both. There are no words, only nods, a shared look, and understanding. They will not leave, not yet. They will stay. Tonight they will watch. And when the lanterns return, they will be ready. The chapel sits quiet in the hush of morning. No hymns, no birdsong, only the occasional drip from the eaves and the low breath of old stone settling. Candles gutter low in their holders, casting thin shadows that stretch and sway across the pews. The adventurers sit in muted thought. No one speaks, not yet. They are listening to the silence, to the weight of what was seen, to the things that do not speak but linger. Then, all eyes turn. Beric rises first, crossing the room with calm caution. The door creaks open on its hinges, and a woman stands there, cloaked, damp with morning mist. Her face holds the look of someone not used to asking for help. "Forgive me. I was told you're the ones asking about the lanterns." "You heard right. Please, come in. You're safe here." She steps inside, careful not to bring in too much of the wet. Thalin rises, offering her a seat with calm gesture. Corin watches from the far end of a pew, the brim of his hood shadowing his eyes. Adair says nothing, but her gaze sharpens. "It started after the first big storm, the one that tore up the old road near the South Bend. We lost more than trees that night. I went to visit my grandmother's grave the next evening after the mud dried. Thought I'd tidy the flowers, say a few words. I was standing there holding her name in my hands when the lanterns began to fall. Dozens of them, pale and slow, like they were drifting down from nowhere. They settled above some of the graves gently, but not all, not hers. The space above her grave stayed empty. Make an insight check. A 16. The guilt isn't loud, but it's there, folded beneath her words. Not fear of the lanterns, but shame for staying away. And you haven't been back since? No. I meant to, I did. But something in me said it wasn't right. The chapel holds its breath. Barrick lowers his eyes in thought. Adair shifts, arms crossed, her jaw set. Balin steps forward, her presence like a warm candle in the gloom. Thank you for telling us. Your visit was no accident. The road brought you here for a reason. May your grandmother's memory be a light that finds its way home. Noah smiles faintly, a tear held back. She nods and quietly takes her leave. The door closes behind her with a hush. The silence returns, but it's changed. Fuller now, heavier with thought, and still the candles flicker. The sky has forgotten sunlight. A low gray hangs across Thirn Hollow, like a damp sheet pulled over a dreaming house. And in the graveyard, between bent stones and wild flowers, something stirs beneath the surface. Adair kneels in the far rows, her fingers trailing through softened earth. It rained again during the night. The soil remembers. Make a nature check. 21 with your modifier. There, just beneath a curtain of moss and creeping grass, tracks. Human-shaped, but not bare nor booted. Each step leaves behind not only a dent in the mud, but a strange pull in the world around it. Blades of grass lean inward toward the indentations. Vines twist toward them, as though reaching, as though listening, and they seem to be mourning. Adair frowns. These aren't animal, and they're not right. Like the ground is trying to follow whoever passed through here. She rises, brushing her hands clean, but her eyes linger. No one in the village recognizes the pattern, but the land does. Later that day, a faint haze sits across the chapel's narrow windows. Inside, Corin sits by himself near the rear pews, sharpening his blade with slow, thoughtful strokes. A sound. Not of this world, not from without, from within. The whetstone pauses. Corin's breath halts. He feels the name, not knowing why it chills his thoughts. Not long after, he finds Beric outside beneath the rustling branches of a half-dead yew. The paladin is still, eyes skyward, as though watching clouds that aren't there. I heard it again, but this time it was daylight, and it said a name. Varith. Varith. He repeats it slowly, as if measuring its weight. This place is soaked in memory. Old ones, heavy ones. There's memory buried in this soil. Not all of it rests easy. The clouds did not break, and the name lingers, not just in Corin's ears, but in the land itself. Night has come again to Thirn Hollow. The graveyard lies still, waiting. The mist clings tighter than before, curling between the crooked stones and over unmarked mounds. And then it begins. A single lantern floats down, pale and flickering, its light a cold imitation of fire. Then another, and another. They descend like snow, dozens of them, soft, spectral spheres, each settling gently above the resting dead. But not all. Make a perception check. Your best is 19. A shape stands at the edge of the graveyard, a figure cloaked in shadows, unmoving, watching. Do you see that? Just there, past the boundary stones. I see it. The figure lifts a hand, only barely. It gestures. 3 lanterns tremble, then spiral downward. They fall faster than the others, each colliding with the earth, and vanish into the graves below. A heartbeat of silence. Then the soil shifts. 3 graves stir, and from each a corpse rises. They do not snarl, they do not charge, but their heads loll. Their limbs drag. They shamble with no purpose, no direction. The shadowy figure turns and is gone, melted into the dark. They'll wander straight into the village if we do nothing. Then we'll stop them here. Steel is drawn. A circle is formed. They brace for battle beneath the light of the lanterns. Roll for initiative. Sir Beric steps forward first. With a whispered vow, he draws a line in the dirt with the tip of his blade. From it, a pulse of golden light radiates, forming a shimmering aura around him. I am the light. He raises his sword skyward, invoking the Emberhold vow. Holy fire dances along the steel. Corin lifts one hand and traces a rune in the air. Dark threads of magic slither from his fingers, wrapping around one of the corpses. Steel your limbs, steel your will. This pact is mine to keep. A hex takes hold. Then he leans close to Beric, muttering words in a tongue older than bone. A ward settles over the paladin's shoulders like a second cloak. Sister Thalin steps forward, her expression full of sorrow. She does not raise her mace. She kneels. Make a religion check. 25. Any malice interpreted underneath the disjointed actions of these corpses washes away. Thalin realizes they mean no harm. They simply wish to be remembered, to return to the beyond. Her eyes close. She breathes once. Show me what lies unseen. Her vision changes. The corpses, once hollow-eyed and lost, now shimmer with threads of blue light trailing behind them, restored to their living glory, but have been tethered to graves not their own. They are not hostile. They are confused, not risen but pulled. These are forgotten souls. They need their names to find their rest. Adair's gaze snaps toward the nearest lantern, its glow dimming, flickering and strained. She dashes across the wet grass. No hesitation. She kneels beside a moss-covered headstone just below where the lantern fell. Come on. Where are you? Her fingers brush away the moss. A name. Elric Hallowell. The shambling corpse nearest her stops, its limbs still, its head lifts just slightly, and then its body dissolves into motes of pale blue light. The lantern above it dims and fades, returned to the veil. One soul remembered. The corpses still lingering, once calmed, now confused, shamble with no memory or meaning. But movement stirs them. A wrongness splits the calm. One of the lost stumbles toward Beric, almost as if drawn toward his holy light, like a moth to flame. It swipes its claws against his shield. A miss. The other, aimless and confused, stumbles into a lantern. It falls, shatters. From the broken glass, light uncoils, and a scream rips into the sky. The spirit that rises is not quiet, not forgotten, but inconsolable, furious. Its shape burns like smoke in the wind, hollow eyes, no face, no name. The spirit lashes out. 18, a hit on your armor class. Its claws tear through the air, through armor, and into the paladin's shoulder, cold like the grave. Beric snarls. He grips his blade tighter. 19, a hit. A shimmer of gold light flares as Beric channels the flame in his blade. He strikes true, his longsword blazing with celestial fire. The wraith recoils, flickering, but holds. Corin raises a withered hand, arcane sigils burning along his forearm. 13. A miss. A blood-red bolt of arcane lightning misses wide. The beam scorches, only missed. Hold still, damn you. With reverence and calm, Fallon steps forward, extending a radiant hand. A powerfully bright orb surges from her palm. 17. A hit. She strikes the wraith with holy light. Adair, light-footed, sprints through the rows of graves. She doesn't fight the spirit. She listens, reads the pattern of graves, the angle of fallen stones. Roll an investigation check. 18. She spots the first name, carved on a broken marker. Torma Vel. Rest now. The remaining corpse swipes at Barrick, lost and wild. 12. A miss. Its fingers scrape harmlessly off his armor. The wraith lunges at Corin, claws dragging shadows through his shoulder. 16. A hit. Burn, you wretch! A flicker of flame surges from Corin's chest, whipping back at the wraith in kind. Barrick swings his blade. 11. Miss. It swings wide. A surge of shadow crackles from Corin's palm. A natural 20. The raging spirit reels in pain, sending shrieks cold enough to freeze the air into the midnight sky. Fallon speaks no word, only draws her symbol high. A soft glow pulses outward, restoring Corin's resolve. Adair dives behind a broken headstone, brushes off lichen. Another name. Delmar Rill, you may go. Only the spirit remains. It howls, surging with fury at Adair's success. It lifts into the air. It swipes at Fallon. A 15. Miss. She lifts her hand, and the blow glances off her robes, as if the amber light has hardened them like steel. Barrick's blade glows with radiant flame. 16. A hit. He drives it through the ghost's core, and it shrieks again. Corin lifts both hands, chanting in infernal. 19. A hit. A final surge of sanguine light shoots from his fingertips. The bolt strikes true. Fallon kneels. You are seen, and you are free. Light overtakes the spirit. Gone. The graveyard stills. Lanterns hover again, gentle, silent. But at the edge of the woods, a shape watching. It lifts one hand, a curl of shadow beckoning, and Corin sees it.